So in number 8, we're going to apply the chain rule. So the number of H bicycle helmets a retail chain is willing to sell per week at a price P is given by HP equals 80 square root of P plus 25 minus 400, where P, the price needs to be between $20 and $100. So to be careful, make sure we label our input and output. So the input, X in this case, is price. Remember, we're talking about a bicycle helmet. And Y, the output, is the number of bicycle helmets. Number of helmets. Okay, so we're going to find the number of helmets at price 75, and we're going to explain that in a sentence. So for this, we're just going to plug into the original. So 80 square root of 75 plus 25 minus 400. Again, we can actually just work it out right here. 80 times the square root of 100 minus 400. Square root of 100 is 10, so 80 times 10 minus 400. 80 times 10 is 800 minus 400. You get 400. You can just actually do it like that. Or we can do this in the calculator. So we're going to type in the original in the calculator. The original in the calculator. So we're going to go to the calculator, go to y equals. I'm going to get rid of y1. I'm going to get rid of y2, and in y1, be careful, this is 80 square root. Inside the square root, make sure you have x plus 25. Move to the right, outside the square root, we have minus 400. So that minus 400 is outside. I'm going to leave the derivative in the calculator, and then I'll put the derivative later. When I go to the table feature, again, make sure when you hit second window, it's Ask Auto. When you go to second graph for the table, we're plugging in 75. So if the price was $75, how many helmets? 400. Sorry, 400 helmets, not dollars. 400 helmets. 400 helmets. Okay, so in a sentence, at $75, the number of helmets is 400. Okay, so we want to know what happens, how that's going to change, the rate of change, the rate of change, the rate of change. So to do that, we're going to take the derivative. Now, when we take the derivative, be careful. Make sure you know what you have. We have 80 times the square root of P plus 25 minus 400. And minus 400 is outside. Step 1, I would rewrite it. This would be 80 instead of square root. That would be P plus 25 raised to the 1/2 minus 400. So that's a rewrite. That is not the derivative. Make sure you know the difference between the rewrite and the derivative. So now when we take the derivative, notice I put a little prime there. This will be chain rule. 1/2 times 80 is 40. Inside stays the same. 1/2 minus 1 is negative 1/2. Don't forget the second part, derivative of the inside. The derivative of 1p is 1. Derivative of 25 is 0. Then the derivative of minus 400 is 0. That's just a number on its own. It's just a number on its own. So if you want to clean this up, simplify. This will be 40 times 1, which is 40. And I would move the p plus 25 raised to the positive 1/2 because we moved it to the denominator. It was negative. Then we moved it down. That would be your derivative. Okay? So when we plug in 75, again, we can plug it into the derivative. 40 over 75 plus 25 raised to the 1/2. If we work this out, that would be 40 over 100 to the 1/2. 100 to the 1/2 is the same thing as square root. So the square root of 100 is 10. 40 divided by 10 is 4. Okay, 4. Now we're going to check all this in the calculator, and then we're going to write this all in a sentence. Write it all in a sentence. So I'm going to go to my calculator. I'm going to go to y equals. We have the original in y1. We have the original in y1. We have the derivative in the calculator. Remember, we do math 8x, y1x. If you have the other form of the calculator, it's y1, comma, x, comma, x. And then we're going to put our derivative in y2. So the derivative would be 40 divided by parenthesis x plus 25 parenthesis, raised to the 1/2 or 0.5, or you can put square root of x plus 25. It's all the same. To make sure we're correct, when we go to the table, second graph at 75, notice we get 4 and 4. So to explain this one, remember it all goes back to input and output. Input is price for the bike helmet. Output Y is the number of helmets. Okay, so if you have 4 over 1, remember, how do you explain it? It's output over input. It's the Y over the X. So in this case, it's how many helmets over price. So if I was going to explain this, at a price of $75, at a price of $75, the number of helmets is increasing. Why is it increasing? Because it's positive. It's increasing 4 helmets per dollar. 4 helmets per dollar in price. Per dollar in price. So at a price of $75, the number of helmets is increasing 4 helmets per dollar in price. Per dollar in price.